Well, good evening here, everybody. We'll get pictures to you shortly, but as it is, we've got game two coming up here between CrimsonAvix on your left, Nochibato on your right. This is the Random Percent Tournament. I'm TGE. That's Magic Friends. We've got a required pig. How's it going?
Today is going to be a great day for racing. We've got races all through the rest of the night. So stick with us and let's watch some awesome races.
Yeah, absolutely. This is gonna be if the last CrimsonAvix race I called or races I called or any indication, this is gonna be a blast. And like I said, we do have a forced gain required, and the reason we have a forced gain required here, I actually did speak to Krim about this before the race started because, according to him, quote, searching for 20 minutes in that 9 only to discover that the silvers were required was awful. Now I just know I have to find them.
Yeah, the first race was kind of a dig fest. So this is going to be a little bit more straightforward. They'll know what's going on. We start with bombs. And is that an any key on the coast?
That was something on the coast. Yes, it was.
And 6 Triforces as well. And the blue ring. So our defense capabilities are nice and healthy. Our attack capabilities are limited to 8 shots until we find that sword.
Yes, so if I'm reading that correctly, unless we are on second quest dungeons, we are missing Triforces 2 and 5. If we are on second quest dungeons, we're missing Triforces 3 and 4.
All right, White Sword at White Sword, Kate, at White Sword. So that's over in the Lost Woods. That'll be nice and close to their start.
And you're definitely happy to see that, considering a lot of times you can get the swordless bomb upgrade seeds, and it's a little disheartening just to see the little bomb with the sparkle. Or I think it was JSR who called it, "What's up with this glitter bomb?"
The glitter bomb. All right, so both runners, Nochi's heading over to start. There's a 50% chance that this cave here has the wooden sword. But not today.
Krim did find a take anyone you want over at the Armos item in the north part of the forest and decided to take a heart container as opposed to the candle. I like that play because now he's got almost a 60-some-odd% chance of picking up the white sword that he just found. So I like that play there.
Oh, he finds a second heart container too, so he's got a great chance of picking this up.
Yeah, and by doing this, it allows him to, when he finds the wood sword, to pick up the free blue candle that's there.
Yes, he knows that there's going to be a blue candle in the wood sword cave, so this is like gives him the extra heart instead of finding wood sword. So he's going to have a good lead. He's able to explore dungeons pretty easily from here.
Yep. However, what we do have a bit of interesting note is level 3 is a cave. This tells us we're on a second quest overworld.
$16 bombs, so bombs are pretty easy to pick up.
Yep, and the other thing we noticed is Nochi did find a dungeon. It didn't have a dungeon number, so we're going to have to play the guessing game a little bit as well.
All right, second quest is a lake, so pretty sure that means we're on full second, right?
Yep, between the second quest being a lake and level 3 being the cave, we are on full second quest, 100%. And that's a spot for the wood sword, the lower left-hand corner of the map.
Well, that's gonna keep Crimson from finding that candle until they might grab a candle off of third heart shop, but that's not a location he's likely to go find very soon.
No, not at all. And Krim is also one of those people who I think in the entire 3+ years I've been involved in playing randomizers, there has been a total of 1 seed I've ever seen that was completed candleless, and Krim was the one who did it. So he's not, amiss to go in candleless. Probably not the thing that's going to happen here, but it's been a thing that's happened.
So Nochi's finding his white sword cave, and now he's going to start to dig up some hearts. But like we said, he's probably going to have to pay for his candle if he wants to get that white sword soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Krim channeling a little bit of his inner Fred there, doing the HUD clip. I say that because we tend to see Fred do that more often than not when it comes to running the randomizer, but we have more 16 rupee bombs here in the letter kit.
Yeah, we see Nochi really debating about which one of these to grab. He decides to go with the candle since he already grabbed his wood sword. He's going to find this second cave up here, and we'll figure out if 4 or 5 was the required number for our white sword.
Ooh, speaking of required numbers, 188 is the required number for that boomstick.
It's actually a really cheap boomstick, but we do know that we're in second quest, so the money's going to be pretty tight to buy a boomstick. Having the candle for free is going to help us get to that, and we don't need a blue ring, so really the only thing that would buy are arrows and keys.
Yeah, although I love the door repair message. You broke my Mr. Banana lamp.
Nice.
I mean, I'm kind of biased to most things of regular colored bananas, so I mean that's just me. Yeah, but that's coming into level 5 here is good news for Crim because seeing this fairy fountain, he's also going to know that he's on a second quest overworld.
Yeah, I think Nochi has not gone up to 2 yet, so he hasn't seen that yet. Because he's more likely to see 5 first in the routing that he's taking.
And we do see the blue Lionel up here. That tells me that we could potentially be on vanilla enemy placement here on the overworld.
Yeah, a bunch of Tektites up to the right of level 5, so that also is an indication. Also, that blue Lionel died in 1 beam, so that rolled down. We definitely have some HP shuffle.
Yes, the question is, are we on full 0 HP?
Well, blue Lionels are within range of being -4, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, and for the white sword, they could be, yes. The reason I bring up the 0 HP is because currently in this tournament, Crim's record is 4-2. His 2 losses came when enemy HP was shuffled to something other than 0. His 4 wins came on 0 HP enemies, so not playing anything statistics-wise, but...
If you were in Vegas...
Oh, I bet against Crim because he's a buddy of mine and I want to troll him.
Nochibato got here coming through King Doll, and their seed was very epic as well. So they had a seed where King Doll was completely trolled in a level 9 that he had an advantage of because the old man told him the silvers were in the northeast, and he was lying.
But that blue Lionel did die to the wood sword on Nochi's side, which does tell me we are in fact on 0 HP enemies.
So with blue ring and combat, okay, so now Nochi's figuring out he's seen the white sword cave. He's seen level 5. He's bombing the lake while he's got some extra bombs on the way through here, even though he can't get into it yet.
We've got a Triforce there immediately in whatever room this is on Crim's side.
And Nochi finds a cave at Forgotten. I said cave. Nochi finds a level at Forgotten because that's more important.
Yes, I mean, there's always going to be... I wasn't going to bring it up, but yeah, since you caught yourself on it.
Crim's going to leave this dungeon. I don't know if he can identify which dungeon it is quite yet. Wand at the power bracelet slot.
So we've got a boomstick seed with a free wand. Wow.
The only sad thing is Nochi has a big old 0 in that rupee count. So he's going to clip over through this wall here. This is a great clip that you really don't see in vanilla runs, but Randomizer, I love pulling this off.
One of my favorite clips. Don't be surprised if Crim either picks this up because I'm running. Yep, he's picking this up because he knows I'm talking. And it's also 0 HP enemies, which is the real justification for picking that up. Bonus points because I'm on commentary.
This is when you have 0 HP enemies, that's the one time that it is not the inferior model.
I mean, it's the issue with the magic boomerang when it comes to using it against 0 HP enemies is still the biggest issue that it has, even when enemies aren't 0 HP, and that is if you miss, it still takes forever to come back across the screen. And
especially when you have 2 runners of this caliber, the timing of that thing coming back can never be worse. It's always right as you're about to stab something, and then you stop for the 1 frame to pick it up, and it doesn't do it, and now you're not doing what you want to.
Right. Well, that compass that Krim got tells him that whatever dungeon he was in, he already had the Triforce for, so he knows he can come back later if he needs to. But the way I tend to play these seeds when I've been doing them is I go in under the assumption that Heart Shuffle is always off, and that I don't have to worry about it until I'm proven otherwise.
So Nochi does end up at 5 hearts before he ends up using the up A to get back to the White Sword Cave. I guess he's just going to worry about his exploration on the overworld, especially now that he's got the wand. He's not too worried about getting the 1 extra point of damage if he decides to double swing with the wand.
And at this point, the only time that would even come into play is against bosses.
$98 for a key, so keys are not going to be cheap either.
So Krim will be making his way over to get the Armos item at some point, because he now knows exactly where it is, considering he's checked the other 4.
Nochibato is working his way up through the grave site, and it looks like at some point Krim will also find that candle that he was looking for. Although, did he buy one already? Or he hasn't bought one yet, so he's probably going to work his way down to this bottom left corner and he'll find his candle.
He will. The other interesting thing so far is we've done a fair bit of overworld exploration, and we've found 2 dungeons.
Yeah, with second quest, we've got a lot more push blocks, multiple extra recorder spots, and of course the 2 raft spots.
Yeah, this is where Krim picking up that early White Sword is paying its dividends. Didn't have to give up a heart, got the free candle, so now he gets burning everything.
Now, I've seen Krim's sprite before, but I don't remember. What is this sprite from?
That is the Onion Knight sprite from Final Fantasy III. And when I say Final Fantasy III, I mean Final Fantasy III on the NES, which didn't come to the US until it was ported over on the DS, or the 3DS. Final Fantasy III that we got in America was actually Final Fantasy VI, one with Terra and company. But yeah, so it's the Onion Knight from the NES Final Fantasy. He also has Kirby, a Chocobo, and everyone's favorite, the Nope Nana.
Literally, is that just to troll you as well?
Yes, it's literally the Nope Nana is the wooden boomerang with the circle, like the red circle and the slash through it saying no. Yeah, I had no idea he had that sprite. He pulled that out one time on commentary, sets everything up, looks like it's the Onion Knight. The race starts, he resets the console, goes to a different thing, breaks, pulls it up, have no idea what's coming, and I just see this, and it's just this circle running around. The first 2 minutes of the commentary literally is just me and the guy I'm working with giggling.
This is too good. Alright, Nochi's found another dungeon here. Definitely 0 HP enemies now that we see these Pole's voice going down to 1 shot. This is looking like, well, it's got an 8 color palette, but that doesn't tell us anything.
No. Hey, bosses did not roll 0 HP, so there'll at least be some combat in this scene.
And also, where Nochi came in, that's not a 7. That is not a spot that is viable in either first or second quest 8. So if this is 8, then this is Shapes.
Yeah, same thing with if it being, I mean, at this point, I would put money on Shapes just based on what we've seen so far. Because the dungeon that Krim did that little bit of exploring in and found the blue boomerang in, that was just a big old block of stuff.
Yeah, there's a big square at the bottom of the screen, and I don't think second quest 4 fit in that, so...
Yeah, I love that. It's 2Q4 always.
Alright, Nochi's finding a raft in this dungeon, so that will clear off 2 of his spots that he needs to dig through. And remember, we need the silvers for this seed, and we need the bow for this seed. So they're going to be digging out most of the dungeons. There's no go modes here until we find all that stuff.
Yeah. Krim hesitated for a minute, thought for a second about picking up the potion, but decided to pick up another heart container instead.
I'm very confused why Nochi didn't pick that key up off the floor. He got a key drop, went into the basement of that dungeon, and then just didn't pick it up?
Yeah, not a clue. Also, for those who might have been wondering, over in chat here, Fury SK has been lovely enough to post the clip I was just referring to. But both of our runners are now in the same dungeon. In fact, in the same room.
Now, if this is a 7-8 dungeon, then this can't be a Triforce that they need. So they're really going to be digging out mostly for... Oh, I see why he didn't pick up that key. This makes sense now. He's trying to
set up a banana key. Oh, the trap said no!
Timing off just by a hair there. So he's going to pick up this key and just use it the old-fashioned way.
The Gliok head over there giving Crim a little bit of the business. So let's see how round 2 against the Gliok fight goes. Interesting thing to note is Infinite Sword Beams is on. So coming in from the right, it's a lot easier to do this because the way the hitboxes work, but you can stand in the doorway and just Sword Beam down a Gliok.
Yeah, you can just stick your head in and out and kind of get your hits in. With the blue ring, you kind of feel a little brave, and that could actually bait you. Okay, heart on the ground. So first indication that we do not have that only the latter heart got shuffled in.
That's our second look at a Triforce in its own room, so that could be a thing that is on, as Crim going to go ahead and find his wrath.
Alright, so that was not a dungeon that we needed. Nochi grabbed the Triforce, left, and did not see any change on his map. So really was feeling like this is an 8, and if it was an 8, it's probably a good idea for Nochi to get out of there and go explore something a little bit smaller, especially since he also already knows there's only one... Oh, and another dungeon 2 feet away.
You were saying... Yeah, this is also interesting because right now what we have seen is we've seen color palettes that still fit into vanilla dungeon colors. So there's a possibility that the dungeon didn't change their palette, so we're still going to get, like you said, the gray level 8. So seeing as this is that gold color, this could be either 4 or 6 if we're going off of that assumption.
Oh, Crimson got the Manhandla down, but with his dying breath, he had one last fireball. Alright, so that's a recorder in this, what Alsoa is calling 4, based on the block color.
Well, whatever it is, it's got ourselves some music, so that recorder is going to be a very interesting item here, because there are several options that the recorder could do. If that's the case, the recorder could be whistled to unbeaten dungeons and their new locations. If that's the case, we are going to know very quickly where 2 and 5 are located. It could also be, bring them to old locations, beaten dungeons. So that recorder, hopefully Nochi's going to blow it here and figure out what's going on. The other option, of course, is to stay on Death Mountain and to continue to explore.
Alright, so another dungeon with no trigger, with no, what was I gonna say?
Triforce.
Another dungeon without hitting a Triforce on our that we need, so.
So the start screen that we just saw there that our players opened up on is hints. And we're getting a hint telling us that Guria grumbles by a lake.
Well, this brought Nochi back to a dungeon that he was in at some point. So it's definitely two new locations.
Then that would be this is level 3 then, because the recorder starts on 1, so this would be level 3.
But is it the right color palette for 3?
It is the right color palette for 3, which tells me that Crimson 8, and I'm not going to say that that's a mounted laser pistol, but that's definitely a mounted laser gun. But yeah, at least we've confirmed that we are in shapes, which is always fun, and yeah.
And we've confirmed, and we're pretty sure that this color palette's on. So, now Nochi, I'm trying to think of how that would get him to 3 first if he used the recorder. He would have had to blow it twice to get past level 1 that they already have.
It starts you off saying you've already blown the whistle to level 1. So if you go to the right the first time, it's going to take you to the next dungeon on the list.
All right, so we're on beaten new locations.
Yes.
Another heart on the ground here in a Gliok room that's not going to let us pass.
That is the strangest looking Gliok I've ever seen.
Goma room. Yeah, my mouth is not doing the good talky like things.
I'd like to dip my Gliok in some drawn butter, please.
Crimson's finding the other item in our confirmed level 8, as there's a second staircase there. It was the red candle.
Well, that does, like I said, does confirm the 8. So yeah, pretty sure at this point vanilla dungeon palettes are on.
There is some kind of block in this level 3 that Nochi cannot get through. And it seems like it's a bomb hole. He was not able to walk through any walls. So he's going to get out of here and go try something else.
So he's going to go back to this dungeon over here, which we're pretty sure was level 6. Crim's going to go ahead and find himself level 4, which is good because he can get some 2D flute.
Yeah, it was not hard to find this tutor. I think, and he also got the same clock that Nochibato did, so this room should clear out pretty quickly. He doesn't even need the clock swagging through there.
Who needs a clock when you get 0 HP enemies?
Alright, so this another dungeon from Nochi, and this looks like 2.
No, that's 1. That's definitely 1's color palette. 2 is the
that's
darker
1.
blue.
Yeah, 2 dark blue, okay.
But the one thing we'll get to is, because as you can see up in the top left, we do have Crim's audio on. So we will get a chance to hear what the recorder tune is. So when you guys hear it, go ahead and try and figure out what that tune is. And if you have no idea, a good guess is always a Final Fantasy game of some sort.
I always just guess that the whistle from Super Mario 3, right? That's what you're supposed to do?
That is a thing. I know this because last tournament I had that as one of my whistle tunes, and everyone was mad that, oh my god, he doesn't have the thing. I'm like, no, I have the thing on, it's just the...
It's just the alternate version. It's the remix version.
It's the OC remix.
Alright, we have a map here that looks like somebody making like a peace sign with their fingers.
You ever played, the circle game?
The circle game? I have not played the circle game.
Basically, it was a game that originated where if you make a circle with your fingers and stick it underneath your waist, if someone looks at it, you get to punch them. That's what that looks like. It looks like someone's trying to make the circle.
Oh, okay, yes. We call it something that I probably shouldn't say on
yeah, exactly. This is why I call it the circle game.
Sure. Alright, so we've only seen one floor item in this one. Looks like this is going to be our staircase item. The D!
Well, that is half of the equation needed to beat Ganon. Also, is this even randomized? Oh, this one is paying lots of dividends for Nochi here. Look at all of those keys.
Seven keys in one. A lot of times one can be very key blocked, but this one is being super friendly. Like a melted 1Q5. Well, that's also a good example. It's like 1Q5's baby with 2Q6 is the dragon, right? Yeah, it's 1Q5 and 2Q6 had a baby.
1Q6 is the dragon. 2Q6 is the little hook thing.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Like 1Q5 and 2Q6 had a baby, and this is the baby version.
I mean, I forget who said it in chat, but it looks like somebody just squashed the 2Q2 and squashed the A.
Crimson just found the silvers. Where is Crimson?
Crimson 3.
Ooh. So each player has one half. We're in no mode. Except for we don't know where 9 is.
We don't know where 9 is, and ladder could still be a thing.
True. Ladder can still be a thing. Power Bracelet can also still be a thing.
Right, there's a level 2 on Nochi's set.
Another heart on the ground. So I'm pretty sure it's just the ladder heart that shuffled into the equation right now. We found 4 hearts on the ground.
Oh, that's a shape.
That's not a 2.
Oh, I wasn't looking at 2. I was looking at 3.
Well, 2 is super linear too. It's a good thing Nochi found all those keys before he got in here, because there's no way around any key blocks in this dungeon at all.
Oh, pay your money or your life. Crimson gonna opt to pay the heart container, and that is knowing full well that this is Boomstick.
He's up to 116. He can make a play for that pretty soon. Nochi also pretty close to that. Nochi's at 160, so he needs like a 30 secret would get him there.
So Crim now moving himself along the recorder section, back to a dungeon he's already been to. I think at this point he's now figuring out that he was in 3, now he's in 4. Graham, you've been in that dungeon.
Alright, so this could be a push room, if we have second quest rooms on. Does not look like anything's coming in here. Oh wait, this is first quest 2, so we're not looking for a push room. We're looking for a floor item.
A floor drop, yep. So Crim has gone all around the world and realized exactly where he needs to go. He's going into level 7 here, up on the corner of Candle.
Going for the big brain play to dig 7. We know that that's not going to help him directly, but it might help him with some of the items.
I mean, I'd rather dig a shape 7 than a shape 6. Ooh.
Yeah.
Although
Did
level
you
7
mastered?
He did. Level 7 getting a little hands-on there.
Social distancing, buddy. Stay away. 2 has the big shield, so Nochi's gonna take a left here, grab his Triforce, and he will be 1 level 5 and a silver arrow away from trying to find 9.
And it wouldn't surprise me with the bow in hand. Oh, well, that's a blocky 7. It's a chair. It's a chair where someone put the recliner up and their slippers have flown up.
Yeah, this is like Grandpa's recliner and his beer sitting on the table.
Yes. As I was saying, though, it wouldn't surprise me with the bow in hand if Nochi finds 5 and doesn't find a red ring hiding in there somewhere. Wouldn't surprise me if you went to 9 on the gamble that silvers are in there.
Yeah, he's he's got the equipment he needs to finish this off. I think he just hit exact enough to get his bow as well off of that secret, or his boomstick off that secret location.
So there is the heart container on the floor in 7. That's an interesting spot for a heart container.
A toilet and a roll of TP. Thanks, Kata.
Well, the problem with that is we all know we still can't find TP.
No, that's not available right now.
Exactly.
The Wallmasters took it all. Yeah, they're hoarding it.
They are. That explains the hand from like Ocarina of Time trying to find some. Oh god, that's what that is.
Nochibato just finished up his coast digging. Wonder why Crimson's still looking for the item in this 7. So he wants this to be. He doesn't know what he wants it to be, but if this is a power bracelet, would be very helpful to him right here, as that'll give him a lot of checks that Nochi can't make.
Yeah, ultimately the biggest thing Crim wants is this to be the ladder, because that 1 opens up the any key. 2 means there's no block. Oh, speaking of blocks, how about a little hungry hand?
It's in a pretty middle spot in this dungeon. I don't know if there's a workaround yet, though. Might have to make some bombs or something.
I mean, it potentially could be. I would love for that bait to be blocking the way to the ladder, and the only reason we need the ladder is to get to a ladder block, not even a ladder block Ganon, but a ladder block Zelda.
If you've been watching a lot of the seeds recently, you've seen a lot of things blocking Zelda that are not Ganon.
So you want some good stuff on the seeds. For Crim, the first race he did in the tournament didn't have a restream. It was a required Ganon. The only way to get to the silver arrows was to bomb through Ganon's room to the room directly north of him.
Yeah, the race that knocked me out of the tournament was a required Dig Dogger block directly in front of Zelda with not a required Ganon.
Oh.
But both of us cleared Ganon, being like, please just open in front of the Dig Dogger, and it didn't.
Oh, that's the worst. Even worse is digging 7 to find only a heart container.
Alright, so that's our coast heart. So boomstick for Nochi. He's gonna have 3 rupees left over, but now he does not have to worry much about bombs. He can pretty much dig out any dungeon wall, and that was keeping him from. And he found the power bracelet somewhere. Where did he find the power bracelet?
That would have had to have been in 2.
Huh? Yeah, because he's clearing out power bracelet slots, so he's getting a little bit of a exploration advantage. PB was in the bow dungeon. Oh, so PB was on
1. PB was on the floor in 1. Okay, yep.
Yeah, I didn't even see him pick that up. It just blinked by.
So Crim's gonna find it here in a minute as he whistled his way to 1. So yeah, at this point, Crim just needs to go. He'll burn south and find level 2. At this point, the hunt is on for level 5 and 9 too. Technically,
what did we just find?
That would be level 5.
Well, this is one of those good news, bad news for Nochi. Like, as you said before, if he finds the Triforce in here quickly, he's probably going to go dig for 9. Even if he finds 3, he's not going to go dig.
Right, he's already found 3. He was blocked out of it for something that might have been a bomb or some sort of like that. So he's already found 3. So, best case scenario for Nochi is he comes across the item in here and it's the red ring. Because that will tell him that, hey, silvers have been shuffled out. Worst case scenario is early Triforce, go try and find 9, banking on the 50% chance that the silvers and red ring have been shuffled to 9.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, the worst thing for him would probably be this dungeon looking like a deformed 8.
I mean, yes. I mean, that's just Link holding his bow out in front of him, just facing the left. That's all it is.
Oh, there's that compass. He's not even gonna... Oh, wait a minute. We have to find a way across to the Triforce here. Uh-oh. That's 2. That's 2 river rooms in a row.
Oh, wow. That's just insane. Do we have the bomb? Are we going to have to staircase our way around this?
Oh, we need a staircase or else we can't get to this Triforce.
That could be a good thing for Nochi. Also, one other thing here in level 1, there was a hint saying the silvers were in 3. I don't know if Nochi found it or not, but that was a thing.
I don't think you saw that. Ladders in 5!
Wow.
So the answer to getting across the water in 5 is in 5.
Right, that's actually crazy there. Because if Nochi didn't find that hint, he's going to 9 at this point. Hello, T-Room. Goodbye, T-Room.
Yeah, I don't even think Nochi... Well, have we... I don't think we've seen 9, though.
Yeah, we don't know where 9 is.
So really, whether or not Nochi gets the any key is going to be based on whether he thinks if he thinks up A-ing is the correct call here. Like if the correct call is like to up A and go check some stuff on the coast, then sure, we'll go get the any key while we're heading to check maybe a raft spot or something. Looks like he's going to check this raft spot first.
Yeah, you're right here. You have full hearts. There's no reason to go over to the coast right now and up A. Because when you up A, you're getting a couple things out of that. You're getting the any key off of the coast. You are getting the white sword out of the forest if you're Nochi. So going to up A isn't the worst thing. It's going to increase your firepower and increase your ability to not get blocked out of 9.
10 keys is, kind of tells you this is not the most important thing to go grab that any key, but you do know that the enemy HP for bosses is not 0, so combat will help him.
Interesting thing, Crim opted to save on the after leaving level 1, so isn't going to find level 2 immediately below where he was. So that does give Nochi a thing. Crim going to go ahead and buy some hints here. He has saved, so he's going to get the hints for free, and then be able to reset back out of them and get them. So we get the Gleeok hint. There's the ladder hint. That's a huge one for Crim.
That's a big one. Crim's froze a little bit. Give us a minute here. We'll get back alive.
Yep, we will definitely figure. Basically, there we go. We had a little hiccup there, nothing too crazy. And we have got mixed hints on.
Well, that actually is not good for Crim because we know that the ladder hint was correct, but then immediately he's getting a mixed hint.
Not a deceptive hint. A mixed hint means half the hints are going to be helpful, the other half is going to be community talents.
Oh, okay. So that confirms that okay, so that's actually really good for him. Yeah. It confirms that deceptive is not on.
Correct. Crim also taking the time to go buy his boomstick.
Right, Nochi has swiftly jumped over here to the left side of the map to check these recorder spots. At this point, there's a good shot he's seen almost everything that is easily accessible. Bombs and candles.
I mean, at this point, there's nothing on the overworld that can block us at this point, so it's just a matter of finding where we have to go to find level. Also, I was going to say Crim not bombing over here, but doesn't have the ladder, so can't access this right now. Looks like we're going to be needing a left side Death Mountain check here from Crim, as Nochi going to go ahead and continue to play the recorder to get farther along. And hey, look, we're on Death Mountain again.
Well, he's got a couple. He's got a whistle spot up here he can check, and he's now got a push block spot up here he can check. So this is helpful.
It is, but apparently all we did was we keep breaking Mr. Banana Land.
This guy. Oh, we found 9.
So that's the last piece of the puzzle. Nochi's gonna find 9 here shortly. Crim, unfortunately, oh wow, that's the only large secret in the game today, and it's minimum rupees.
El Cheapo. But again, there's not much we can really buy here. Crim has nothing he needs to buy except maybe a bomb pack if he wants. He's gonna have to find this ladder when he finds 5 anyways, and then he can pick up an any key.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing is Crim now has the information as to where 9 is. Nochi knows where 2 and 5 are, which are down here where he's standing anyway. So this is the interesting part of watching these races is where we in the booth know exactly where everything is, and we're just trying to sit there and we're trying to like see how the runners are routing and trying to remember what they know versus what they don't know to understand why they're doing things in the manner that they're doing.
So you see Nochi is just checking overworld spots because he thinks that the correct play right now, having not seen a red ring or the silvers in the other dungeons, is to just dig out 9. So he's trying to get around the map as quickly as possible to check some obscure spots. Like this is probably going to have him screen scroll over here. Oh, he doesn't have to screen scroll, but go check these 2 ladder spots along the river. Whereas Crimson is still checking for dungeons, so he's being a little bit more thorough in his searching.
Right, but whistling here to 7 is actually going to get him where he needs to go. He's just choosing to go in the wrong direction to do it. There are the other hints for Nochi. Doesn't have the money to buy all of them. Could have bought that middle hint. Chooses not to right now. So it looks like over in chat right now, there's been a discussion on the different hint types. So the way the hints work here in Zelda 1 Randomizer is there's a couple of different hint types. There's regular, and when I say regular, I mean that's the things you see in the game, like go up the mountain ahead, or there are secrets where fairies don't dwell. The things you see in the vanilla game. Then there are helpful hints, which are what we saw earlier, what tells you certain things. Like, for example, a feat of strength will lead to the red candle. Tells you either need to push a grave or use a power bracelet. Fire the arrow will tell you that you need to fight. There's a Goma's blocking something. Or it could tell you, like we saw in the case of Gleeok Lurks or Dig Dog or Gazes, what dungeon items are in. Then there's community hints, which are just fun little messages that the community as a whole came up with to put in the game. Fun little anecdotes, things like that. Finally, there is deceptive hints. And deceptive hints is 50-50. And what I mean by 50, it's more 55-45 the way it works, but 50% of the time you're going to get a hint that is true. In the case of Goma, Aquamentus awaits with the boomerang. And then 50% of the time you're going to get a hint that is a lie. It's more 45-55 in the sense that a hint that rolls as deceptive could still be, truthful depending on some weird way the algorithm works.
All right, Nochi has found 9 here, so this is our first chance to see 9. Let us know if you hear the roar of Ganon, because we know that Ganon is required. This is not a scene where we're just going to hope to find an open princess door.
No, we absolutely are not going to find that. And this is a 2-direction 9, a left go and a right go, which that always is a little suspicious for me because when I see a left-right only, I get the feeling that Zelda's right around start.
Yeah, DH, right now we know that Nochibato is in the wrong dungeon to find silvers, but this is a very close range. Nochi has all the information of locations, but doesn't have the information of the silvers. Crimson has the silvers, but doesn't know where either dungeon he needs is, and is still looking for a ladder as well. Now, he doesn't know that the ladder is going to be in the one of the dungeons he needs either.
Yeah, he has to hit the ladder in 5. He's found 2 here, so he's halfway where he needs to go. And hey, that's a map. And every time you see a shapes map of 9, if your answer is Swiss cheese, you're right. Also, we got at least one person with the listen hard to find Ganon, even though we were on the other audio. We got at least one person, so we got that one good.
All right, we've got a hint saying kidnapped in the northeast. That is not the hint that Nochi wants to see. I mean, it'll help him later, but he needs to find this silvers lie elsewhere hint. Otherwise, he's going to dig out both the items in here and probably find, like, you know, Lord Banana and, I don't know. I don't even know what's left to find out.
Well, looking around here, we've got the boomerang.
And the red ring?
And the red ring.
Oh no! So he could find the red ring in here, and
yeah. So the worst, the best case scenario for Nochi is finding Lord Banana right now, because finding the red ring is going to keep him deeper down the rabbit hole.
Well, we're not going to have to worry about keys. I think Nochi's 13 is probably enough to get us through pretty much every locked door in this dungeon.
The one good thing for Nochi here is if he does find the wooden boomerang first and surmises that he doesn't have to or is going to continue going through, you're going to check dungeons in an order that makes the most sense size-wise. So 3 is, statistically speaking, the dungeon you're going to check first.
Yeah, he has everything out of 1. He has everything out of 2. So now if I'm him, and me and Nochi talk about this all the time, he's oftentimes helping me get better at the game. We both have talked at length about whether you take staircases when you need to find an item in 9. And I'm always of the case of take the staircase because it eliminates 2 staircase. He's of the kind of I'm just going to keep looking and clearing like on the map as cleanly as possible so I don't end up with segments in my map.
I am 100% with you on this in the fact of I am absolutely taking every staircase I find. And Patra did in fact guard the compass over on Nochi's side, so we at least now know where one piece of the puzzle is.
And that also helps him to confirm that helpful hints are on, because he sees that that princess indeed is in the northeast. Crimson will find one of these 2 dungeons. This is, he's coming up on level 5 now, correct?
Correct. Level 5 is going to be on the screen he is currently on. So, Crim, now all he has to do is find the ladder, find the Triforce. We know the ladder is required to get the Triforce in here, so that's good news for him. And he will be on his way to level 9.
And Crim knows where it is, so he can get back there very quickly.
Yeah, it's just a quick little toot over to level 8 and then a couple screens away.
This boomstick is making short work of both the rooms and the staircase. Okay, so he just found the banana. What does he do? Does he stay or does he go?
He burns it, of course, because everyone burns the banana when I'm around.
Looks like he's going to stay in 9.
At this point, I think you're pot committed to the 9 play at this point. So you kind of have to. I mean, you could get lucky and immediately find the second item, but you absolutely have to. You're pot committed at this point. You have to take that shot and take that gamble.
Oh, popping out in Wizrobe rooms is never fun.
I would much rather pop out in a Wizrobe room like that, where there's actually room to move around, than pop out in Wizrobe rooms, like the grid pattern room or the like jackpot room, where you have no place to move. And there is the red ring. So good news for Nochi, finding both items fairly quickly here. Bad news for Nochi. Now starts the game of what dungeon do I go back?
He's got to get out of here. He's got to up A from here. Why is he still exploring?
I think he might be just trying to check out these last couple of rooms to see if he's a path to Ganon. That's what I would do. Just take a quick look at these two rooms, see what we can find, and then get out of here. Because this is a pretty obscure spot to get back into. So if you don't have to come back here with when you're back, then you're good.
DH Storm pointing out something important. He might have forgotten that this is a required big seed. Because we're so used to having that, like, having to figure it out.
Right, but I mean, if you're under the impression that it's not a required pig seed, you know where Zelda is, you head immediately there. This tells me he's trying to figure out where Ganon is, so when he comes back, he is 100% knows exactly where to go and how to get there.
Those traps, I hate traps so much. They give you no leeway.
Yeah, traps are kind of the worst. Even worse when you don't have the ladder and you walk into a moat, right into like the full-on moat room, and you have to walk. Oh. So Crim never got the compass, so he's going to explore every room in this 5 except the one he needs.
Yeah, he's all the way back at the top of the room.
The good thing is it's a quick check. He at this point now knows that Triforces are in their room, so it's a quick in, out, gone, but he is going to be rewarded with an absolute metric bajillion ton of keys.
Alright, Nochi is out of 9. He thought he was trying to find it looks like he was trying to find a quick way to the princess, so that he knew it for later. But then he saw the hint block that was going to keep him from doing anything.
Right, so Nochi has, recorded to 4, realized it's not where he needs to go. And it's going to be interesting to see where he chooses to go from here, because this is 5. So Crim picking up his final Triforce piece, he does know where level 9 is. So now the question becomes, Nochi has the information of where Zelda is, not how to get to her. Doesn't know where the silvers are. Crim has the silvers, but still needs to do the full exploration of 9. The interesting thing about this is I give the advantage to Crim here, especially now that Nochi is going into 8 and opting to not go back into 3.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is Nochi. I'm wondering because he got stuck on that screen where level 5 was for a minute there. And I think his problem was he didn't know where his count was on his whistle. And then he blew it in the wrong direction. And a lot of times the first time you blow it in the wrong direction, the correct play is just to let it happen and figure out where you are from there. Instead, he tried to kind of correct it but then he moved south, he aimed south, and yeah, I think that kind of just threw him off. So when he ended up at 8, he's like, fine, I have items in here, let me go.
Right, I mean, and 8's not the worst decision in the world. Because there's 2 items in here, and he didn't find either one. We know it's the red candle and...
Well, he got the raft out of here, but he also saw a lot more of this dungeon than he did of 3. 3, he went in 2 rooms, I think, and then bailed.
Getting reports from our restreamer, who has both full streams up, that Nochi's tracker is listed in... He's got them listed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order, in orders that he found the dungeons.
That's right. Nochi is very mindful of his tracker, but he always does his maps based on the order found so that he can get them back quickly and they correspond with his Z helper. But it's not easy to go back. There's no easy way in the tracker to go change like map 1 to map 7 for future reference.
So Crim has also found the map of 9, and if there's going to be a dungeon that you find a map in shapes, 9's the one you always want it to be. A little bit less so with the boomstick. Usually you want to find the map in 9 so you know where to bomb. With the boomstick, it doesn't matter, you bomb every wall.
Spray and pray. And give some people seizures if you're prone to those.
Yeah, I forgot to do my usual boomstick warning. Yeah, the good news for Crim is he knows helpful hints are on, so he didn't have to worry about killing those landmos to see what was there. 2, he has silvers already. He's only going to check staircases if he needs to check staircases. So he is just in full on. I'm blowing things up. I'm trying to get us away as fast as I can.
So one thing Crim is also doing, okay, so there's that red candle for Nochi. He's going to be out of 8 now, because he's pretty sure he knows Heart Shuffle is off. So he's going to have to find another dungeon, pretty much. That's a compass, so now we know half the puzzle. Crim taking a bunch of these... With Crim taking staircases, the reason he's doing it is if he sticks his head out the other staircase, he'll end up getting 4 checks of Ganon. Wherever he pops out, he'll know if it's anywhere near that, if it's any of the rooms adjacent to that staircase.
Right, absolutely. And you're going to continue just moving up and down, because if you continue moving in a vertical pattern in a level 9, you're going to get a ton of checks. You can get 4 directions of check to see if you can find Ganon. So continuing to search up and down is the way I tend to do it. Sometimes the dungeon pushes you in a direction. There's only so far you can go.
And up and down tends to be slightly easier. So the beast awaits in northeast of Skull.
Which means he's probably guarding the girl.
Yeah, good shot that's just Ganon into Zelda.
And from the looks of it, we may have... Well, there's the wooden boomerang, which we knew where that was because Nochi already found that. Could be a potential staircase into the northeast as well.
Yeah, neither Nochi nor Crim have found a easy way to get up into that corner. We know a lot of those staircases are in the bottom left as well. Those are the ones that Nochi chose not to take.
There is nothing more satisfying than boomsticking a whiz rope. Also interesting note, Crim left behind the red ring, feeling that with 0 HP enemies and a boomstick that the blue ring he has will suffice.
Yeah, with him taking so long to find the dungeon in the overworld but not seeing it done yet, he probably thinks this is a very, very close race. And it is a pretty close race. If Crimson can't figure out how this 9 is laid out, Nochi's going to get back in here with most of the information he needs to find Ganon. That is true. They do have the blue ring Freedom Fighter, so Driver's still 2 hearts, but Crimson is basically a fireball and a driver from dying to Ganon.
Right. Crim also has found his way into the northeast, and there is going to be our Ganon.
Alright, we still haven't found a route, but it's not going to matter too much, because this is
0 HP.
This is not a roaring Ganon. This is not a roaring Ganon, it's a whimpering Ganon.
That is, and Crim is going 1 room to the left, will be directly south of Zelda. Seeing Ganon in his room means Zelda's probably in hers, so unless something crazy happens with the fire, Crim is going to take game 2 and send us to a game 3 here.
GG's to Crim. finishing up 58-26 for CrimsonAvix. It looks like Nochi's going to find his silver arrows right about now. And he will be just a couple of minutes behind Crimson, digging back through 9 and finding his, going for his finish.
Yeah, I would like to point out my statistic from earlier is still valid. That is now, Crim is now 5-0 with 0 HP enemies in the tournament.
Yeah, this one, the enemies didn't really come down to it. Both runners were pretty clean, and if anything, I think Crimson took a death or two more than Nochi did. But a lot of it came down to Nochi was not really able to figure out what dungeon was what. He didn't know the dungeon numbers as he was going into them and was unable to suss together what the palette colors were, and that cost him some exploration time. Crimson did a little bit more thorough job exploring each dungeon that he found as he found them, and it paid off.
100% did find the silver arrows in 3, and there were 2 different chances with that silvers in 3. It was digging 3 to find it, or getting that hint in level 1. So both of those could have been things, and this is one of those races where, like you said, one little move makes all the difference. But let's be honest, we're getting a game 3 out of it, and I'm a giant sports fan, so an elimination game for both people is always the best. Like, Game 7 is always the best thing in any sport, so Game 3 in a best of 3, always the best thing to do.
Agreed. And this is the winner's bracket, so we are in the round of 16 in the winner's bracket. So both of these runners are, even, it's not a true elimination game. Somebody will get bounced down to the bonus bracket, but we're going to see these great runners for a while here, at least 3 more games each.
And we've got a CrimsonAvix in chat with us here, so GG, sir.
Thank you. Weird seed.
Yeah, a little bit. The first question I want to ask is, how long did it take you to realize palette colors hadn't been swapped?
I actually didn't even realize that. I wasn't even paying attention to palette colors. For the first 2 dungeons, I was considering maybe Second Quest was on, because I don't actually know where the dungeons line up on the mini-map other than Second Quest 3. So I'm like, okay, well, this may kind of be the shape of this level, and so it wasn't until quite a bit later that I realized that everything was shapes.
Give us some feedback on how you started this run. You found that white sword early and made a pretty wise play grabbing those hearts instead of the candle.
Because the hearts and the white sword are the only things I saw, I picked up the first heart early, and I'm like, you know what, I have bombs, let me go up and bomb this northeast. If I find a level or find another take any, that's going to put me at 5 hearts, so that actually gives me a really good shot, like an 83% shot of getting that white sword. And if it doesn't, then I'll just delete the file, start over, and pick up the blue candle so I can explore. I knew it was risky because it might limit my exploration early, but I figured if I get the white sword, I already knew that bonus candles were on, so I knew I could just get my candle out of the Woodsword Cave.
Oh, that's really wise that you had in mind, like, okay, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna go grab a blue candle instead.
Yeah, being that early on in the seed, there was absolutely there wasn't any hesitation in my mind to do that.
So Nochi finding a different way into this room. He's gonna fight Ganon from the top.
So, Crim, I would be remiss if I didn't point this out, and I know you're gonna laugh a little bit at this. So, you're now 5-0 in this tournament when 0 HP enemies are on.
Yeah, no one too when they aren't.
All right, chat, get your GGs in here for Nochibato, finishing up with a respectable 103.37.
But no, quite honestly, Force Cannon is probably, even though 0 HP does or has at least benefited me, I would say that Force Cannon is my favorite flag to have on, just because I like the exploration. Honestly, the most disappointing race I've done so far was race 1 against Slack because it was so quick. It's very anticlimactic when it's quick like that. So that's why I like Force Cannon. But yeah.
We are joined by Nochibato. Good racer.
I don't meme like that, but I couldn't help myself. I had to burn that boomerang. I had to.
You burned it. Crim picked up the blue one. It was all good. It's all in good fun. Perfectly acceptable.
Hey, if you burnt that, that means that I know at one point during the race, TG said, I am definitely on Team Nochibato.
I didn't say I was on Team Nochi because by the time you picked up the blue boomerang, we knew it was 0 HP, and my only comment was, and of course Crim's going to pick it up because I'm on comms.
I mean, yeah, that's the only reason I had White Sword at that point. And Perma Beams, so.
Yeah, combat started off pretty straightforward this seed, and you also got. How long did it take both of you to figure out the Heart Shuffle wasn't on after seeing any key on the coast?
It didn't take me too long, but I wasn't positive because I've had a lot of hearts on the floors, and then it turns out, oh look, here's the bow for it.
I didn't really go with the impression that Heart Shuffle wasn't on until I found the recorder and I didn't care anymore.
Why does finding recorder mean you didn't care?
Because I could easily get back to the dungeons.
Fair enough.
Yeah, once you found out that the recorder was going to be in, you knew that if you had to, you could just redip.
Oh, can we also talk for a second about that level 2?
Yeah, of course.
Because I was definitely going around there looking for the ladder, thinking that size level was a level 5, and well, of course it wasn't.
That was an ugly level 2, and also it was a level 2 that was 100% one way. There was, if you ever found a key block or a meat block or something, you were doomed.
A key block? Are you nuts?
Well,
I mean,
you had
they both
14,
had double
so
digits, so that wasn't happening. Yeah, you know you've collected a lot of keys when any key is 2 screens away from your start screen, and neither one of them decided, I'm not going to go get it, having plenty of keys. So yeah, that was the thing.
Okay, I shunned the any key, I shunned the magic sword check with 13 hearts, and I shunned the red ring in this seed. So I kind of taught you all you need to know about the keys in the combat.
Yeah.
I almost left the red ring behind, but I was like, I'm gonna get to whatever dungeon the silvers are in because they're not here, and it's gonna be blocked behind something real ugly. So I just took it as a safety. I'm a coward, I admit it.
Although, Crim, do want to point out that leaving that red ring behind almost cost you with the 2.5 hearts in Ganon's room. Ganon did give a little hug before you got a chance and got lucky with the 0 HP key.
Oh, I would have been a little more careful. I also knew the path to Ganon at that point. So, but yeah, how many 0 HP Ganon fights I've also had this tournament so far? I went in and I'm like, I'm gonna take a stab at him, hope that he goes down in one shot. That was my fault though for sort of rushing through a few of the red Wizrobe rooms and taking 2 red Wizrobe beams too.
yeah, there was still a shot that Nochi could come back if you decided to walk through the fire.
Oh, I made sure I didn't.
All right, runners, you did a great job today. Do you know when your next race is? And Nochi, do you know what your flag is for Loser's Remorse?
We haven't talked about when yet, but I'm getting really tired of board question mark. I'm probably gonna turn dungeon numbers on.
Jumping into the random effect camp of I hate dungeon numbers.
I know that whoever tracks that race will also be extremely thankful for that.
Yeah, that definitely came up in this seed because I saw you, Nochi, trying to figure out how to whistle on the overworld to the dungeon you wanted.
I was trying to keep okay. This one took me to the dungeon I have marked as 1. This one took me to 5. Oh wait, no, I know what 5 is, so 1 must be that. And then if I go there and
Yeah, I understand that. I just memorized where it took me on the overworld in progression because what I thought was 8 wasn't 8. Apparently it was 6. And so, yeah, I just memorized where it took me on the overworld. I actually recorded to all the completed dungeons before I even found 3 or 2 or 5. So that kind of helped.
Yeah, the not having dungeon numbers is always made even more interesting when you start with X number of Triforces and you can't tell what you just picked up.
Yeah, there's always that too.
oh, I'm sure I don't need the Triforce. But wait, it could just be that Fred's messing with our heads again. Let's pick it up anyways. Nope.
All right. Well, thank you, runners, for a great race. Actually, a pretty close race, all in all. Do you have anything else to say before we close up shop for this race and move on to the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races tonight?
Just go watch other people. It's been a fun tournament. So, yeah, go watch other people and cheer them on and everything else.
Yeah, basically, I mean, there's a lot of entertainment to be had by watching this tourney, and just to thank you to the people behind the scenes who are able to put this stuff on for us.
We look forward to Game 3. As we said when you guys get in here, any and all Game 3s are always going to be fun. So looking forward to that. And we do have another race coming up here for you guys on Randomania at 9 p.m. tonight. But before that, we're going to send you on over to the race happening on RM4 between TA909 and Cantaloupe Me. So we're going to send you guys there for a little bit. So go watch that. Then at 9 o'clock, get your multi-twitches on because you're going to need it. You got the finale of TA909 and Cantaloupe, and you're going to have the race here, Sis Crusher and Angel FM. There's an RM3 race with the Raikou Rider and Amazing Toaster. There's a 9:30 race. So, yeah, all kinds of fun. Get your multi-twitches ready. You're going to need them.
Stream and Pro Infernape for doing all the tracking and behind the scenes work. And thanks to our runners. Make sure you give each of them a follow today. They are awesome runners and really great players in the community.
100%.